Hey folks, welcome to Blues Day Tuesday, number 4. We're going to talk about playing the blues in all kind of different keys. We're going to have some movable chord shapes. So we're going to get away from the kind of just using the open 7 chords. So here's a shape here. This is like your D shape, but if you took it from these bottom strings and brought it up one. So it's 6, 7, 6. That is a B flat 7 chord. So we're going to start out in the key of B flat. This is going to be our first chord, 6, 7, 6. And you try to mute that bottom one. So we're just going to go bum, 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 ba-dum. So down, 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 up, down. Kind of a staggered kind of blues shuffle feel with that. Dump, da, dump, da, dump, da, dump, that kind of thing. So we're going to start with this chord. We do the first measure of that chord. Then we come here to the 5 on the big one and a 6, 6. This way you don't even have to do a bar chord. You can just kind of do an easier chord. Then we're going to come back to that B flat. So this was an E flat 7, 9. We call that. We'll just call that the E flat for now. And this is the B flat. So 3, 4. Go to E flat. And then we'll go back to B flat. We'll do that one twice. And then we go to the E flat twice. B flat twice. And then we'll have the turnaround. So the turnaround is, think about the 4, take it up 2 frets, and that's your turnaround chord. So that's going to be the F 7, 9. We're going to go down to the E 7, 9 after that. And then we have the B flat up to the highest chord for our turnaround. Okay? So let's look at one more thing here. We're going to have you can strum along with me on this rhythm, or you could start to look at your scale. So here's your blues scale, your minor pentatonic scale. So we have 8, that's a root note, and then we're going to go 6, 8, 6, 9, 6, 9. And then 8, 6, you can use that 6 too, but 8 is the root note, and this is also the root note down here, B flat notes. Okay, so you also have a major pentatonic scale. You could start here. Use these lower notes, but this is your root note. So that gives you a happy blues scale and a more dark minor blues scale. And you could also do that little flat 5th in there. We could also move this one up to this higher position. Okay, so you could strum with me on this. We're going to do a 12 bar 2 times through. Or you could do little solos, come up with your own little solos. Like I say, you got your happy blues sound in one, and you have your more dark sound in one. Okay, here we go. 2, 3, 4. Starting again. Okay, now think about a little ending. So this chord here, this 7 chord we're doing, it comes from the B flat major chord. What happens is in a dominant 7 chord, you have a major chord, but you have a flat 7. So just to explain this real quick, a normal 7 would be right next to the root note of a key. So the A right here would be the 7th note of a B flat major scale. When you flat a 7, you make that note lower. So that's why we got that note in with these other 2 notes from a major B flat. So that's a flat 7, and it's because we had what would have been the 7th note of a major scale. We took that and flatted it and put it in the chord with it. Okay, and using these shapes, we could play in any key real easily. Let's say we wanted the key of G. So G, I would look at a major chord here, G major chord, and I know that that flat 7 is over here. So I could start with this chord. And then I'd go to that one. And of course, when it came to the 5 chord, I would go up from this 4 chord up to. That's my turnaround chord. Okay, so that's how you would change keys with that. You would go and find a major chord, like say A, and then you would make that dominant 7 with the flat 7 shape there, and then you'd be off and running with these as your 3 different chords. Okay, so let's go back to the B flat. Let's think about an ending. So the B flat chord here, major chord, look at these notes here. We got the 7 and the 6. 7 on the G string, 6 on the E string. So this is where you get a lot of those kind of blues endings, turnarounds and stuff from. So if we start in this high one, if you remember this, where the major chord comes from, then you can go up 3 like that, and then you'll be on that high note. So that's where we start with like. And then you can end it with like. It's cool to go like a half step away from the end chord, up or down, so it could be. It's just kind of a tension release thing that gets you back to your original chord of that key. Okay, so you could go in the other direction too. We also have this other one. So that one is a 9 and a 6, 9 on the second string, to the 8 and 6, to the 7, 6, to the 6s, and then I'm going A7 to B flat 7 to finish that up. That's just 5th to 6th fret with that D looking shape on these bigger strings. So you could also do this one note at a time. And like I say, you can go from either side of that half step thing into your original chord there. So. Okay, and it all starts with wherever that major chord is. So if we wanted an ending riff in G, we'd have. And then like that. If we wanted one in, say, C, here's C, 8th fret with the first finger. And on that 8th fret, because our C was on the 10th fret bass note, and that would make our dominant 7. Okay? So that's how to move it into different keys. Just think about a major chord, and then you got your 7 chord happening there. And you also, that's where your blues scale would start also. It's like on that root note of whatever key. So if you're in A, here's an A. There's your A minor pentatonic scale. And if you wanted to do the major, think about starting on the G string. Here's an A. That's the one that slides up. So if we were in the key of C, here's the C. Here's C major pentatonic. Okay, so let's do something in C now. So we're going to do a little boogie woogie thing. That can be kind of a tough thing on guitar because you're going from a chord like this, we're reaching way over here. So to make it like this, it's a little bit easier. You just got to move that one finger in. So we're using the 5s on the 3 biggest strings. And this is one of those boogie woogie rhythms again. Dum, da, dum, da, dum. So we're going to go 2 of these and then bring in the 7th fret on the big string. You want it nice and tall so you don't mute the string below it so you can hear all these notes. So this is like a honky tonk or boogie woogie rhythm. Now when you get comfortable with that, you could bring in this pinky in there. So let's try that a little bit. 2, 3, 4. Okay, now if we want to find the 5 chord, one interesting way of doing it, we're on a fret here. We want to just move up 5 frets. So that's going to put us up here in the 10th fret. That's going to be the next chord of this key. So we have C, and then that's going to be the F, and then the 12th fret is going to be the G. So that's our 1, 4, and 5. 1 is the C. Go up 5 frets, so you find the 4, and go up 2 more frets, so you find the 5 chord, the turnaround chord. Okay, so we're going to go 2, 3, yeah. We'll just do do the easy one. 3, 4. So we did 4 bars of that C. Now we're going to F. And back to C. Now this 12, if it's hard to reach, you could also, 12 is also open. Back to the 10. Do a little turnaround like that. 10s, 11s, 12s. So let's try that again. And think about if you want to take a solo, you can start here to get your happy blues. Or you could start on the C over here and get your minor blues thing going. So here we go. 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna go to the F. Get that quick chord change. Back to F. Back to C. Just did an easy one there. One more time. Now here I'm going to stay on the C and do the pinky. Now we go to the F. You might use different fingers if it's hard to reach. I'm going to go to the low G. Okay, now if we wanted to do an ending in C, think about your C major chord. And then here would be the C7. Or okay, what if we were in, say, A flat? Here's the A flat major chord. Okay, remember where your A flat chord is? That's how you get your 7 chord with the flat 7 in there. So as long as you can see that one where you're going to end up, you can just jump one on either side of it. Get that tension release thing for cold blues. So now, one other thing to think about is if you're at the intro of a song and you do a riff like this, say, well, here what we want to do is we want to end up on the 5 chord, the turnaround chord, so it sets us up going into the 1 and beginning a progression as opposed to ending a song. So we'd want to go. Now, this would be the main chord. This would be the 4 chord. This is 2 up from that. So 5, 6, 6 is the one we want to end on. So we'd go. So it'd be. And that sets up the turnaround tension that leads you to the beginning of the progression. So let's do this for A flat. Nice weird key for you. Okay, so A flat here in the G string, that's how we're going to start our happy blues scale. You could also start it here on the A flat. You go to that one right there. So you go 6, 8, 10, 8, 10, and then 9, 11 into 13, 11, 13. So that's another way to get you up higher. You could start on the big string and find your root note as well. So we got our A flat, 2, 3, let's solo in that. Plus we'd have your blues scale would be right here, your minor blues scale. So 2, 3, and. Okay, now if we want to do that honky tonk boogie woogie thing, we'd find an A flat chord. So you know A is here, these 2s. So the 1s. Go up 5. see your 8s and 6s is your higher chords. It's just walking from the lower one into the chromatic up to the higher one for a little standard kind of turnaround thing at the end there. Okay, A flat. So we covered a bunch of different keys. I think you can see how you could play in any different key. Just look for the name of your key you want to be in, where that note is. Realize that everything kind of comes out of a major chord, just gets changed a little bit into that other shape. And then when you do this one, you want to come down here and be 1 fret down with that new shape. And remember, your 5 chord is 2 up from that. So it'll take a little getting used to because these are weird new shapes. But hope you all had fun with that. Blues Day Tuesday number 4. Thanks for watching Damon's Baritone Uke Joint. Got some tabs with this. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know if you have any requests. Put those in the comments. Let me know where you're watching from. Thanks a lot. We'll see you soon.